Hello and welcome to Boxing Evolution TV. I'm joined by a very special guest now in the studio, Julian Dale. How are you today, Julian?
I'm good, thanks Monica. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
I'm really looking forward to this interview because Julian has had an extensive martial arts training background. How did it all start? I mean, you mainly do Kung Fu. How did that start?
Well, I've been doing Chinese martial arts for 29 years. I started over here in England for a few years, and then I got on a plane and went to Hong Kong.
What made you get onto the plane? Was it somebody that encouraged you, or?
I wanted to get to the source and train with the families of the particular styles that I wanted to get involved with. So I had a piece of paper with a name and address. A friend of mine helped me find a hotel, which was more of a, well, it was an interesting hotel surrounded by cockroaches in downtown Kowloon in Hong Kong. And it all kind of started from there, really.
It's all character building though, isn't it? So how long at the time, you know, had you been training in these Chinese martial arts before you boarded the plane, before you went over there?
Well, I'd been doing northern Chinese martial arts for about 4 years. And I'd also been training with a master from mainland China who was living over here. And with him I specialised in internal martial arts, Tai Chi, Qigong and Baji Quan and some other bits and pieces. So I'd been training sort of four or 5 years here in England, and then I just went to Hong Kong. And I'm still with my Tai Chi teacher after all these years as well. I still visit him in Hangzhou in Zhejiang province in West China. So I've stayed with all my teachers for more than 25 years.
Fantastic. You must have some amazing experiences over the years, all the different countries that you've been to. Is there anything that sort of sticks out?
I mean, life's a whole adventure, but certainly the travels have been an adventure. I filmed a documentary in China back in 2000, I think it was, and we had an assigned driver from the Waiban, or the government police was assigned with us to ensure that we behaved, which was quite interesting. And China's an extremely interesting country. It's very diverse. It really is a mix of the old and the new, and the martial arts out there, I mean, it's opened up more now, and there's more Western people going out there, but when I first started going out there wasn't many Westerners who were travelling out to train, so it was a real eye-opener for us.
Did it ever feel dangerous at any point?
I think dangerous, there's always danger to any non-native tourist running around. You can always get into trouble, make mistakes, meet people that maybe you shouldn't meet, but generally, no, once you're with your Kung Fu families, you're looked after. You're kind of within the family, and you're always looked after that way, guided and kept away from things, or introduced to the right people.
Yes, I guess that's the main thing. If you're introduced to the right people or the wrong people, it can go a completely different direction.
Oh, it can go very badly wrong. Yeah.
So, at what point did you decide, or did you realise, actually, this is what I want to do for a career?
For a career, it's not something that I chose to do as a career initially. It was just something that I chose to do as a life path. I didn't start sort of working properly and getting a real job till I was 24, 25. So up until when I started at 17, all that time I was just travelling or training non-stop. And even when I got a real job, I would get up, go to work, and still come back and train 3-4 hours a night, 5-6 days a week. My downstairs garage I converted into a small gun, which I trained in every day, and it was a training halls. But the point, I opened up a small centre in Maidenhead near the river initially, and was teaching there for about 6 years. I needed to find somewhere bigger, and the reason that I kind of went full time, because I was working in the city as a consultant with the IP and telecoms industry, performing at a very high level. My mother died quite suddenly. Within a 6-week period she was diagnosed with cancer, and then she passed away. And for me, it kind of made me sit up and take a breath. And life is so temporary that we must pursue our hearts and follow that which we believe is the right path for us to go. So I just kind of thought, killing myself in London, it wasn't very conducive to a healthy lifestyle, working that hard and training that hard. So I went from a 6-figure salary to a very small salary, but my view is that the heart is full. The pocket might be empty, but the heart is full. So my quality of life is so much better now.
That's fantastic. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people, you know, sat at home, maybe they're stuck in a similar situation. You know, they might be making a bit of money but unhappy in the job. What would you say to people that are maybe in that situation who want to maybe branch out or break away and do something else? What would you say to motivate them into doing that or taking that step?
I think as I've journeyed along life, I've studied as a clinical nutritionist. I follow Tibetan Buddhism with the Yungdong Pun school, which is one of the earliest root Buddhist schools within Tibet. I'm very fortunate to have a direct Lama, my Rinpoche, Lama Khyentse Rinpoche, and also people around me that have enabled me to look at life differently. It is very possible to perform at an elite level if you get the balance and the synergy right. And this is something that I coach within a business that I run called Dynamic Life Synergy. If you want to perform at the top, you've got to have everything in balance. Your nutrition's got to be right, your value system as well, your feeling of self-worth and what that is tied to. So what can people do to enhance their lives is appreciate themselves as human beings and appreciate what they've got. And the real true value is not in materialistic things.
Absolutely not. I guess when you're on your deathbed, you know, it's not one of the things that you're going to wish you had more of, is it?
No.
It's things that matter to you, you know, love, people around you. That's the things that matter, and happiness as well. Happiness
is really the key, and laughter. It's very easy for us to become emotionally attached and entrenched in issues and problems and relationships and life and worry and stress. And I still experience it and fail miserably all the time. But
of course, we're only human.
The main thing is laughter. If you can find laughter and happiness and joy in a moment, because moments are fleeting. But if you've laughed once in a day, then what's the rest of it? It depends on whether you tip the balance and where you put weight. So, yeah, I used to train so maniacally, so my training would be considered unhealthy, I would think, obsessive.
Would you think that, or was this an opinion of someone else?
No, I think now looking back and reflecting, why do people go to retreat or why do people become monks or things like that? Very often I felt the calling and the desire to retreat from the world, especially when I've been on my travels and things like that. I found a sense of peace and quietness. And for me, the most joyful times have been when I've done nothing but eat, sleep and train, and been with my teachers, in terms of my training life and happiness. But obviously life is much bigger than just that. But I would say, if you train obsessively and destructively to support emotional issues, psychological issues, or your value system and your self-worth is tied entirely to one small element of your life, you'll end up crashing, burning and blowing yourself up. So I laugh a lot more now when I'm training, and I find the happiness and the laughter, and I muck about with my students. And
good.
But the training at my Kung Fu school is relentless. It's still relentless, and it's still very hard, very tough. But if you laugh through it,
do you find that gets better results? I mean, does it put the students at ease to focus more, or you know, is it just the way that you like to teach?
I think as I've got on, you know, I used to train 8 hours a day with my teachers, 4 2-hour sessions, blood, sweat and tears, and you know, no talking, train. My teachers were very, very strict, very old school. When I first started training with my Eagle Claw teacher, I don't forget the questions I was asked. My Eagle Claw teacher said, "What do you want from me?" And I said, "Sifu, I want to be your student, and I want to train the old way, the right way. I don't want any mucking about." And my teacher said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Sifu, yes, I'm sure. The right way, the old way, the way you were taught." And my teacher said for the 3rd time, "Are you really sure?" "Sifu, yes, I'm sure." "Okay, tomorrow we begin." Hiya. I was not prepared.
I was just about to say it. I was just about to be my next question. Were you prepared for what was about to unfold?
No, not at all.
So talk me through briefly about the steps and the measures that they put you through to get you to a level of the old way, you know, the proper way.
I mean, the training was just relentless. It was non-stop. It was on and on and on and on. Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. No, I said you must do more, 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 more. But to be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, and I understand that to get the skill that I want, and I hope to be scratching at the surface of it, still trying, still doing my best to improve. The only way to get that skill is to train extremely hard, extremely focused, and be extremely driven. But it must be balanced. It must be balanced because it's a lifelong path.
Absolutely, and the balance is the key. What do you think you've learned skills-wise that you can apply day-to-day life from your Kung Fu or from your other Chinese martial arts?
Learning how to breathe. How to breathe slowly.
And the thing is, this sounds so obvious, you know, of course everyone breathes, but there's a difference between taking a breath and breathing.
Absolutely. A breath is just taken in the lungs.
Yeah.
When you breathe, you stop and you feel the warm breeze. And you stop and you feel the warm breeze. You don't just go, well, that's a breeze. You feel it, you embrace it. You embrace the moment.
Yeah, it connects the mind, the body and the spirit, I guess, in one.
Yeah, it is very important because we are a multi-process system. We are, you know, we have a digestive system that is considered an external organ from the body. The digestive system is considered to be an organ separate because it's one tube, so it's outside the body in science. The mind plays a very important role on our hormonal system, the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. You know, our endocrine system is always tied into, it's all linked, and the greater synergy you can bring within these layers and processes of ourselves as human beings, the greater our life can be better.
Fantastic. So if somebody wanted to take up Kung Fu, what would you say to them for the things they need to take on board? Things they need to bring to it to be a good Kung Fu martial artist?
I think the first thing to do is don't be distracted by hokey pokey fakery. You know? Don't be distracted by orange robed flying monks. You know, as we were talking earlier before we started this interview, there's an old Buddhist saying. The Buddha said, if you see me sitting at the road, kill me, because it's an illusion. Don't be entrapped or distracted by the fancy and the flash, because within the most simple is the greatest thing. Old Chinese martial arts is not fancy, it's not flash. It's very simple, it's very brutal, it's very direct, but it takes time. Good Chinese martial arts takes a long period of time of body development. It's not something that's done on the outside, it's a kind of internal change that extends outwards. For example, the Western ideal of strength and fitness is an upside down triangle. If you look at Charles Atlas or anything like that, it was, you know, big broad shoulders and strength up here. And that's what the Western definition of strength and body strength is. The Chinese is the opposite, it's a pyramid. So from the legs up, the root up through out to extend to the hand, so the foot extends to the hand. So, you know, the bigger you are, the less space you can squeeze the joints and contract the body. So torque, thrust and compression and expansion are four key physical mechanics that we use in Chinese martial arts. The bigger you are, it gives you a level of strength, absolutely, and it looks great on men and women, they look fit and healthy, but strength and power are two different things. Yeah.
There are two totally different things. Now let's talk a little bit about modern day martial arts, particularly MMA. You know, over the last sort of 15 years it's really taken off. What are your views on MMA?
MMA is nothing new, and this is the misconception.
I mean, sort of, it's just become popular, like, commercially.
But how do you think all these Chinese martial arts developed? By cross-pollination, migration, of interaction of different martial arts masters and styles. If you look at Bagua, which is a very famous style in China, it's the art of circle walking, if you like. That's a very, I would say, tame definition of it. The teacher who developed Bagua, Dong Haixuan, Bagua didn't just manifest out of the air. He was already a very accomplished martial artist. He practiced many, many years. He met different teachers who gave him different things, and he evolved and created. They say that Bruce Lee, and I wasn't going to talk about Bruce Lee, was the father of modern mixed martial arts. I'm sorry, this is not true. In Shanghai, there was a very famous boxer who developed his own system, and they call it Yi Chuan, mind fist. Some people call it Ziran Men or Da Cheng Chuan, natural boxing. Now, Wang Laishan was a master already of Xing Yi Quan, Bagua, Lo Han Shaolin. So he brought these things together and developed his own system. He, I would say, of all the people in Chinese martial arts, was the most prominent developer of his own mixed modern martial arts. He used boxing principles by, they're like a Western boxing fighting stance, and he was undefeated by anybody in all of his fights. So mixed martial arts is nothing new. However, what it has done is open doors for people to start not being so anally retentive and elitist in their view. Lots of people are cross-training, cross-developing, and developing very, very good combat and fighting skills for the ring and down into the street as well. So, it's very, very good. And I think the development of mixed martial arts starts to offer the traditional martial arts community a great avenue of exchange. Because the mixed martial arts practitioners today, they're training like I used to and like I still do. They train hard, very, very hard. They're very fit, very strong, very well conditioned. And you start getting all this housewife and hippie Tai Chi. Tai Chi Chuan. Why do you think that there's word Chuan, fist, on the end of Tai Chi? Tai Chi is a fighting system before anything else. It just happens to have very good health benefits built into it. You've got many different styles of Tai Chi. You've got Chen style Tai Chi, you've got Yang style, Zhao Bao, Chen Panling. There's all different styles of Tai Chi. But it's a martial art. And if a martial art is not for fighting, what is it for? Nothing. Yeah? Okay, so they're martial arts. Chen style Tai Chi is very vicious. It is very vicious. It specialises in locking and throwing.
Right.
And locking is just one step away from breaking.
Yes, I know.
Okay? So, jiu-jitsu and a lot of the Japanese martial arts came from southern Chinese martial arts. Jiu-jitsu is Qin Na, which is to lock the joints.
Yeah.
You've got the Fujinese and Hokkien southern Chinese martial arts that influence Japanese martial arts. So again, this is all mixed martial arts, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Martial arts is one big family. And people need to tear the barriers down and stop saying, oh, this or that. But approach your martial arts training with the idea and the intent that it was designed for. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your achievements over the years.
Achievements? My greatest achievements is family and finding the ability to laugh. Everything else is not important.
Oh, I like that. That's so good. But what about, let's talk about your Kung Fu career.
I've had the good fortune to meet many, many great martial artists, many great traditional Kung Fu exponents who are dangerous and who can fight like you wouldn't believe. What people are exposed to generally, you see the films, the movie Fu and things like that, that's great to aspire to wonderful legend-like skills and abilities, which legends are generally founded on a story. It might be one master defeating 5 people. Well, that 5 people became over the time 50 people. And he used a blade of grass. Well, no, he didn't. He used a massive hacking saber. Yeah. So legends, and folklore are all based on some kind of an originating fact or story or event that happened. My achievements is being accepted into the Chinese community.
It's a massive achievement to go and train with the people that you've trained with. They've taken it in their houses. It's a massive achievement.
Well, I live with my teachers. My Eagle Claw teacher is a lady, and she is the daughter. Her name is Master Jinny Lau. I call her Sifu. Sifu is a personal title between student and teacher. I live with them. This is my family. This is my Kung Fu family. So I stay at the house, I eat the food, I cook, and, you know, whatever. And that is very... Western people need to let go of their own ego and their arrogance. They need to become humble. The Chinese are very humble, and they can be quite difficult, I will say, to manage at sometimes, and they play a lot of games. But that's to test your mind, and it's to open your mind. You know, my Tai Chi teacher I've been with, I'll say 25 years. I have a third teacher, so I have 3 teachers. I have my Eagle Claw teacher, I have my internal martial arts Tai Chi Qigong, and that's teacher's name is Master Ji Zhencheng, and he's in Hangzhou in China, West China, Zhejiang. Then I have a third teacher, an American doctor called Dr. Kenneth Fish, who spent 15 years in Taiwan learning martial arts. And from him, I learned a style called Tongbei boxing, which is through the back boxing, and skills, methods, and principles of some of the styles that he's done and learned. And I'm very fortunate that all my teachers are extremely highly skilled, extremely highly skilled. And I also have, over the years, been able to develop friends within the Chinese martial arts community, Westerners like myself, who've been out in Hong Kong and training. They've gone through the same bitter training, they've gone through the same mind training and emotional training with the Kung Fu families. And this is a community that's quite close-knit. We're not interested and we don't care about competing and going out. We want to develop skill and bring on the skill of our families. But all of these martial artists that I know are extremely tasty when it comes to using it.
I bet they are.
And you know, don't when people say, "Oh, Kung Fu's flowery," it's flowery because you don't know what we're doing with our stuff. Yeah. And we're not going to teach you either because you're not our student. Yeah. And some of the stuff is family stuff. We don't teach you. We don't pass it on. We only pass it on to family. Yeah. So it stays within those circles. Yeah. So I guess you're privy to a lot of information and skill that, say, a lot of people that are training Kung Fu in England aren't privy to. I can't speak about others because I'm not asking you to, but what I'm saying is you get told a lot more stuff than what you know, the average person doing Kung Fu will get to find out. I'm fortunate to be considered a member of my Kung Fu family, therefore I have access to the family information. Let's talk a bit about Qigong, because I'm very interested in this. For people that don't know what it is, just give us a brief description. Okay, well, the words Qigong, Qi means a life force type like energy. The easiest way to give you a reference point is acupuncture. Yeah, acupuncture works on the premise of what's called meridians, which are lines that go all the way through the body, which is the yin. Chakras is a different name for similar things. Okay, if you imagine train tracks with small stations, each station is your acupuncture point. The track is the line. Acupuncture works by adjusting the energy and the qi, or the life force, within the acupuncture point so it flows freely, it is in the right balance. So that's what qi means in one sense. It also means like kind of air or a gas. Very difficult. Western science can neither prove nor disprove it. You ask many Westerners, what's qi? They say, oh, it's bullshit. You ask Chinese people, say, what's qi? What do you mean, what's qi? It's everything. It's everywhere. It's life energy. Qigong, gong just means to develop or train. So Qigong is an umbrella term for training your energy. So other than the actual martial art, is it right that there's a meditation side of it as well? Is that a big aspect of it? Is it a small aspect of it? I think the process of meditation is focusing the mind on a single process. So you could say sometimes meditate by fixing your eyes on a candle. Okay, so what are you doing with your mind? You're focusing your mind on one thing, one aspect. Meditation, that act of focusing your mind, or meditative aspect, can come through when you're practicing various things like Qigong. So we say Qigong. Now Qigong has different types. There's health Qigong, which is for nourishing and nurturing that healthy living qi within your body. It relaxes the mind, it relaxes the body, and develops something called song. Song is to sink within yourself, settle. You know, like sediment settles at the bottom of a river. It's that kind of settling process. So you have health Qigong, of which there are many different types. You then have martial arts Qigong, of which there are many different types. You then have what's healing Qigong, of which there are, again, different types. So you have subdivisions and subdivisions, different types, and that bring on different benefits and have different results.
Fantastic.
So meditation, to answer your question, if you stand still and simply close your eyes and breathe, that's a meditation exercise.
Yeah.
It's about quietening the mind. In Buddhism, which I'm sure you've heard the term, we have a monkey mind. Our mind is like a monkey jumping from peach tree to peach tree, plucking a peach, tasting it. Oh, that's nice. There's the next one. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. So these are like our thoughts.
It is very true.
So
it's very true.
The clear lake, when you drop a stone into a clear lake, the still water, ripples go out. That's the mind. We need to quieten it.
Yeah, absolutely. So how can meditation help with the martial art or another combat style fighting?
I think meditation is not just beneficial for martial arts or for boxing. I think meditation and learning the process is beneficial to all of us who are performing and training and working extremely hard. Doesn't matter if you work at an office really hard. Doesn't matter if you're a semi-pro or pro boxer or semi-pro or semi-mixed martial artist working hard, or a traditional kung fu practitioner like myself that is training hard every day. I train an hour and a half in the morning and at least 3 to 4 hours at night. And I'm at my kung fu school from 8:30 to 12, and then from 3:30 to 10:30. So I'm there a long time. What meditation enables us to do is to find the quiet moment where we can still make everything still, settle the mind, settle the breath. Now, this has an effect on our physical process of the hormonal system, the endocrine system, the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. It can be very regenerating and rejuvenating. You can also use it for creative visualization. I have a very good friend in Camberley who's a mixed martial arts fighter by the name of Steve Obi. And in the run-up to one of his, not the recent one, but the fight before, I did a lot of meditative, creative visualization, talking through.
Very effective.
And he went out and absolutely destroyed his opponent on that fight. And that was extremely helpful. So, in that instance, it's very good for athletes who are trying to perform and hit that sweet spot of performance.
Absolutely. As well, because when we visualize something, say for example we'll take your friend's fight. If you visualize your fight and you visualize what you're going to do, you're creating a route through your brain from A to B. And your brain, it's visualizing it. It's exactly the same as doing it. It's the same process from A to B that your brain would go as you were when you were doing it, So if you can visualize and get that down to a T, you can make things happen. You can make things happen for yourself.
I think that you have to, with that process, what happens is you start to manifest the whole experience in advance. I mean, I remember Steve, and maybe we'll talk about trying to get Steve in for an interview here. He's a great mixed martial arts fighter, extremely good, extremely skilled. And talk about the process that I did with him. Because on the table, with the couch that he was lying down, we were going through, when we finished the process, he felt, and he said, this is the most vivid experiential moment that I've gone through pre-fight. And when he was in the changing room on the pre-fight leading up to it, all of that work came back through.
Absolutely.
He was very, very, very tuned in for that fight and just absolutely destroyed his opponent. So amazingly,
yeah, it's so good. I mean, it's definitely something people should look into, visualization and manifestation things. It's something that I personally work on a lot as well. Let's talk about the other aspect of what you're up to. So you're also a health practitioner, but you don't use normal methods. You use a lot of herbal remedies and things.
Well, within Chinese martial arts, there are a number of aspects, and I'll try and clarify them for you. Within Chinese martial arts, we have something called ti da. Ti means to fall down. Da means to hit. So, and jiao, it means alcohol or wine. So we have ti da jiao, which is a herbal remedy for bruising and conditioning, which involves massage as well. And we have alcohol-based rubs, we have oil-based rubs, and we have internal medicines for internal injuries as well. So that's within the Chinese martial arts. I also do acupressure, deep tissue massage within that field as well, because there's something called bone setting within Chinese martial arts, and that's understanding how to fix dislocations and breaks and bruises and things like that. So when you practice destructive skills, you should practice healing skills. Again, to bring it back in balance and bring it in synergy. When you understand Ditta, you start to understand the acupressure points. You understand how you can start using them in a positive or a negative way. So that's one aspect. I'm also a trained clinical nutritionist, and I've done other holistic health practices. And I have the coaching personal development company called Dynamic Life Synergy, which is all about working towards finding that potential self that's always here and helping us perform at a very elite level all the time. So it's you know, again, like I said, mind, body and spirit all together.
Yeah.
But understanding the synergistic layers of ourselves and how they influence each other and how to maintain them in the best sort of performing synergy that you can.
Would you ever take a paracetamol, or are you purely sort of...
No, absolutely. If I've got a headache and if I've got a migraine, I'll take a pill. Yeah.
So you're not just strictly sort of herbal remedies. Is it the herbal remedies? Is this what you know? Is this what your kung fu family have taught you, or is this just something you've picked up along the way?
Well, as a clinical nutritionist, I've gone into nutrition in a deep way. So, you know, the foods we eat and how it affects us physically, but it also affects us emotionally and psychologically, because our thought, feeling, emotion affects behaviour and so forth. And you know, we can go through very highs and very lows at times, and if our balance is out, our highs can be very high, running on adrenaline, then we burn out and crash. Then we can be very low, and that's where depression starts to set in. Our performing ability just goes out the window. So we want to try and bring as many things back into balance. But if I've got a headache, oh yeah, I'll take a painkiller. I'm not. Yeah, I don't like headaches.
You're not totally strict. Yeah, no one likes a headache. Horrible things. But actually, meditation's good for that as well. Apparently,
it is. You can relax through most headaches, but migraines and things like that are a chemical imbalance.
Yeah, it's a different type of headache completely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been fantastic having you here in Boxing Evolution TV studios. I could literally chat to you for the rest of the day. Very, very interesting man. If anyone wants to find out more information about you, where can they do that?
Well, on the web you can go to my website, which is www.worldeagleclaw.com.
Do check it out, guys. It's a fantastic website. I had a little look around it myself. Some very interesting stuff on there about the Kung Fu family as well.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously if you want to know more about classes, there's information on classes there. You're based in Maidenhead, is that right?
That's right, yeah, that's right, in Maidenhead. And we're open, we've got a full-time Chinese Kung Fu school open 6 days a week. I also do private coaching, private tuition as well, so it's open to all things.
But you don't just do the private coaching for the Kung Fu stuff, you do it for the health side as well, don't you?
Yeah, and people looking to, people who are looking to create change and positive enhancement within their life as well, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
Pleasure, Monica. Thank you very much. It's been great to be here on Boxing Evolution TV. Look forward to coming back again soon.
Yes, we'll definitely have you back. All right, that's about all we've got time for now. But do come back and see us soon, and we have some more interviews. Thanks, goodbye.